Alexander the Great, the insane campaign that built the biggest empire in record time. In 356 BCE, a boy was born in the rugged kingdom of Macedonia, a land perched on the edges of the Greek world. His name was Alexander, and from the start it was clear he was destined for greatness. Macedonia was not the cultural center of Greece, but it was a land of warriors and ambition. Alexander's father, King Philip II, was a brilliant and ruthless strategist who had united the fractious Macedonian tribes and transformed his kingdom into a formidable military power. Alexander's mother, Olympias, was equally ambitious, steeped in mysticism, and convinced that her son was destined for greatness. Their influence shaped Alexander from the earliest age, instilling in him a mix of intellectual curiosity, spiritual belief in his own destiny, and an insatiable hunger for glory. Alexander was tutored by Aristotle, one of the greatest minds of the ancient world. Aristotle taught him philosophy, ethics, medicine, and science, opening his mind to ideas far beyond the battlefield. But he also instilled in Alexander a sense of purpose, that a leader should not merely conquer, but also understand the world and shape it. Alexander was an eager student, fascinated by the natural world, by history, and by the great empires of the past. Yet he was also a prodigy of action. By the age of 16, he was commanding his own cavalry in battle, proving that intellect alone was not enough. He had courage, audacity, and leadership beyond his years. When Philip II was assassinated in 336 BCE, the 20-year-old Alexander ascended the throne. Many in Greece doubted that such a young man could rule effectively. Revolts flared across the region, and some city-states even considered rebellion. But Alexander acted swiftly, using a combination of diplomacy, intimidation, and sheer military skill. He crushed opposition and secured his rule. By 334 BCE, he had solidified his hold on Greece and was ready to set his sights on the greatest empire of the age, Persia. The Persian Empire was vast, wealthy, and fearsome, spanning from the Aegean Sea to the Indus River. Most generals would have hesitated, planning for years before attempting to challenge such a superpower. Alexander acted immediately. Crossing the Hellespont with 35,000 soldiers, he entered Asia Minor and confronted the Persian forces at the Battle of Granicus. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander personally led the cavalry charge against the Persian line, taking immense risks. His audacity won the day, opening the gates of Asia Minor and proving that he was a military genius whose boldness often compensated for smaller numbers. After Granicus, Alexander moved southward, eventually facing King Darius III at the Battle of Issus in 333 BCE. This time, the stakes were higher. Darius's army outnumbered Alexander's, but Alexander used terrain, speed, and clever positioning to strike directly at the Persian king. Darius fled, leaving behind his family, a symbolic and psychological blow that shook the Persian Empire. Alexander's reputation spread like wildfire. He was not just a warrior, he was a force that seemed unstoppable, combining tactical brilliance with relentless courage. One of Alexander's most remarkable feats came in the siege of Tyre, a fortified island city that many thought impossible to conquer. For 7 grueling months, Alexander and his engineers built causeways to reach the city, facing storms, relentless counterattacks, and starvation. But Alexander's determination never wavered. Tyre fell, and with it, Alexander demonstrated that his genius was not only in direct combat, but also in strategy, engineering, and psychological warfare. Every victory built his legend, drawing admiration and fear alike. In 332 BCE, Alexander entered Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator from Persian rule. It was here that he founded Alexandria, a city that would endure as a cultural, economic, an intellectual hub for centuries. His time in Egypt showed another side of Alexander. He was not just a conqueror, but also a visionary, seeking to spread Greek culture and knowledge, and to create a lasting legacy that went beyond mere territorial control. Alexander's next target was Darius III and the heart of the Persian Empire. In 331 BCE, the two forces met at Gaugamela. Outnumbered yet again, Alexander used superior tactics, flexible formations, and unmatched audacity to shatter the Persian army. Darius fled for the second time, and Alexander effectively became the ruler of a massive empire spanning 3 continents. It was an achievement that seemed almost unimaginable, a man barely in his 20s, controlling lands that stretched from the Mediterranean to the Indus River. But Alexander's ambition was boundless. He pushed into India, encountering unfamiliar terrain, strange cultures, and enemies unlike any he had faced. Massive war elephants and monsoon rains challenged his army in ways they had never imagined. At the Battle of the Hydaspes, he faced King Porus, whose army fought valiantly and whose elephants wreaked havoc on his lines. Yet Alexander adapted, using clever tactics, speed, and psychological insight to secure victory. The battle demonstrated not only his military skill, but also his ability to learn and innovate under pressure. Still, the campaign tested his men to the limit. After years of constant marching and fighting, his army finally refused to continue further east. Even Alexander, relentless and driven, was forced to turn back. The return journey was arduous. Harsh deserts, monsoon rains, disease, and dwindling supplies took a toll on the army. Yet Alexander continued to push forward, founding cities, spreading Hellenistic culture, and integrating conquered peoples into his administration. Everywhere he went, Greek ideas mingled with local customs, creating a legacy that would endure long after his death. By the time he returned to Babylon in 323 BCE, he had accomplished what few could even imagine, an empire that stretched across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. But his life would end tragically soon after. At just 32 years old, Alexander died under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind an empire without a clear successor. His generals would fight among themselves, dividing the empire into several Hellenistic kingdoms, but the cultural and political impact of Alexander's campaigns was permanent. Greek language, ideas, and governance spread across the lands he conquered, shaping history for centuries to come. Alexander's story is more than just conquest. It is a tale of extraordinary vision, intellect, and courage. He reshaped the known world in a mere decade, spreading culture, science, and knowledge across continents. He inspired loyalty in his soldiers, instilled fear in his enemies, and created an enduring legend. Alexander the Great was a man who dreamed bigger than anyone before him, who ran faster, fought harder, and imagined a world united under his vision. Though his empire fell apart, his influence on military strategy, culture, and global history remains unmatched. His life reminds us of the power of ambition, the impact of boldness, and the enduring allure of greatness. Alexander did not just conquer lands, he conquered history itself.